What if everything you've been told about safe investing in 2025 is about to explode in your face? Meet Alex, 48 years old, decent job, $340,000 in the market, mostly tech ETFs and a handful of forever stocks he swore he'd never sell. On paper, he's fine. Retirement calculators spit out green smiley faces, but every single night he rolls over, grabs his phone, heart pounding at 3 a.m., and stares at the same red candle that keeps getting smaller while the S&P keeps making new highs. Alex feels poorer than he did 5 years ago, even though the market is up 120%. Alex is you. Alex is millions of us. And right now, in the final weeks of 2025, Warren Buffett is sounding an alarm so loud it rattles the windows. If you still have ears to hear. Look outside. The world is drunk, absolutely hammered on cheap money and hopium. The Magnificent Seven trade at 60, 70, 90 times earnings. Some of them don't even have earnings. AI is the four-letter word that justifies any valuation. Billboards on the 405 scream, "The bull has years left. Get in!" Your brother-in-law, who delivers packages for Amazon, just YOLO'd his entire 401k into a 3x leveraged semiconductor ETF because we're going to Mars, bro. Your dentist has a Robinhood account bigger than his practice. Your mom's WhatsApp group is pumping some meme coin to pay for the grandkids' college. Meanwhile, 8 time zones away, in a modest office on Farnham Street in Omaha, a 95-year-old man sits surrounded by See's Candies boxes and decades-old furniture. Warren Buffett's cash pile just hit $325 billion, the largest war chest in Berkshire Hathaway history. He hasn't bought an elephant-sized deal in 6 years. He's been a net seller of stocks for 10 straight quarters. He trimmed Apple, the greatest investment of his life, by another 45% this year. His annual letter is getting shorter, the jokes are gone, the tone is almost funereal. While the entire world sprints into the casino shouting, "This time is different," the greatest investor who ever lived stares at the same numbers we see and whispers the sentence that should terrify every one of us. This feels like 1999, only worse. Alex knows something is wrong. He just won't say it out loud. His portfolio is up 25% in 2025 alone. On the surface, he should be popping champagne. But every extra $1,000 feels like monopoly money. He needs every cent of it in 12 years when his daughter starts med school and he walks away from the office forever. He's trapped in the worst emotional prison an investor can build for himself. He's terrified of missing the last leg higher and equally terrified of being the last fool holding the bag when the music stops. So he does nothing. He scrolls r/Wall Street Bets at 1 a.m., watching 24-year-olds turn $5,000 into $5 million and then back into $5,000 in the same week. He watches YouTube gurus in front of Lamborghinis telling him the Fed has his back, that profit margins can stay at 20% forever, that the government will never let the market go down again. Every video ends the same way. Stay fully invested, buy the dip, time in the market beats timing the market. And every night, Alex nods along, hits the like button, turns off the screen, and lies awake wondering why the knot in his stomach keeps getting tighter. He knows the concentration is insane. The top 10 stocks are a larger percentage of the S&P than at any time since 1964. He knows margin debt is higher than 2000 and 2007 combined. He knows corporate profit margins are at all-time highs and historically always mean revert hard. He knows the Shiller PE is flashing the same red it flashed in 1929 and 1999. But the market keeps going up, so he keeps telling himself the same lie we all tell ourselves when we're scared. Just a little longer. I'll get out at the top. I'm not greedy, I just need 10% more. Deep down, he knows the truth. The thing holding him back isn't bad luck, it isn't the Fed, it isn't politics. It's the refusal to listen when the only man who has seen every bubble of the last 70 years is practically shouting from the rooftops, "Get out of the burning building!" It happens on a random Tuesday in November. Alex is doom-scrolling at 2:17 a.m. when YouTube serves him a clip he's never seen. The thumbnail is just Buffett's face, older, thinner, eyes tired. The title is blunt. "My biggest worry for regular investors right now. 2025 interview. Rare." Alex almost skips it. He's heard the cherry-picking and Coke jokes 1,000 times. But something makes him click. The interviewer asks a softball. "Mr. Buffett, what keeps you up at night?" For 8 seconds, the old man says nothing. The silence is uncomfortable. Then he leans forward and speaks so quietly the microphone barely catches it. "What keeps me up is knowing that millions of good, hard-working people are going to get hurt badly because they believe this time is different. It never is." Alex's heart stops. He restarts the clip. Then he finds the full 2-hour version. Buffett doesn't scream. He never does. Instead, he walks through the math like a grandfather explaining why you shouldn't touch a hot stove. He shows valuation history going back to 1871. He shows what happens when passive inflows outnumber rational humans by 10-1. He talks about the demographic cliff in America and Japan. He talks about debt, about interest rates, about the end of the 30-year bond bull market. And then he says the sentence that finally breaks Alex wide open. "Being fearful when others are greedy only works if you were actually fearful when others were greedy. Most people weren't. They're going to learn the hard way." Alex pauses the video. He feels like someone just read his diary out loud. For the first time in years, he feels seen. He prints the latest Berkshire letter, 22 pages, grabs a yellow highlighter, and starts reading every Buffett interview from 2023, 2024, and 2025 like a man possessed. The moment that finally shatters Alex comes from a quote Buffett gave in 2001 that someone reposted on X last week. Alex is sipping cold coffee at 4 a.m., scrolling when he sees it. The stock market is the only place where people run into a burning building because the fire trucks just arrived. He freezes. That's exactly what he's been doing. Watching valuations detach from any known reality while telling himself this time is different because the crowd is sprinting inside with gasoline cans. He opens Excel for the first time in years. He downloads the Shiller PE data. He overlays today's numbers on 1929, then on 1999. The chart looks identical, only worse. He pulls up Buffett's favorite metric, total stock market capitalization to GDP. It's higher than any point in recorded history. He calculates real earnings yields after adjusting today's profit margins back to normal 6 to 8% levels. The numbers make him nauseous. Then he asks the question Buffett forces every serious investor to face at least once in their life. If I wouldn't buy the entire index today with 100% of my net worth at these prices, why am I okay owning it at 90%? The room goes dead silent. The mental gymnastics stop. The coping mechanisms collapse. For the first time in a decade, Alex is staring at the truth with no filter. He realizes he has been violating the single most important rule Buffett ever taught. Rule number 1, never lose money. Rule number 2, never forget rule number 1. And permanent loss doesn't come from missing the top 10%. Permanent loss comes from being fully invested when the greatest bull market in history finally turns into the greatest value destruction event any of us will ever live through. Buffett's brutal warning for 2026 isn't complicated. It's the same 3 sentences he's been repeating for 70 years that nobody wants to hear when stocks only go up. 1. You do not have to swing at every pitch. 2. The less you move with the crowd, the better you will do. 3. Cash is not the enemy when prices are stupid. Overpaying is. Waiting is not timing the market. Waiting is risk management. Holding a mountain of cash in the final stage of the biggest bubble ever recorded is not missing out. It is the ultimate act of respect for the people who depend on your capital, your family, your future self, your peace of mind. Buffett isn't predicting the exact day the music stops. He doesn't need to. He's simply reminding us that gravity works 100% of the time, and the higher you climb on euphoria, the harder you fall when reality returns. The real risk isn't sitting in T-bills at 4.8%, while your brother-in-law brags about 70% gains. The real risk is waking up at 60 years old with half your net worth gone because you refused to sell when the selling was good. Buffett has lived long enough to watch every hot new paradigm die. Railroads, Nifty 50, .com, crypto, now AI. They all follow the same script. And the final chapter is always the same. The people who protected capital during the mania are the ones who get to buy the wreckage at prices that make them rich for the rest of their lives.